What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm just going to do a bit of a vlog of this VL a bit more, just because the owner is pretty happy with me to do some content on it. I think honestly he's probably pretty keen to watch as it progresses as well, because he's at work. And yeah, the overwhelming response is a lot of you people really enjoy just seeing it. So at the moment I'm just running errands pretty much. I had a big day yesterday, come back to the coast, dropped off everything around where I needed to get it done. So dropped this billet wheels off to his wheel guy to get them machined. Dropped this flywheel off to Coolant brake and clutch to get it machined. Dropped the brake line that I need to get made up to NZ. There's no way I can do a stock one because of the way the seats are different, but the hard line on the actual car is going to be different as well, so it has to be a custom made line. So ran around, did all that yesterday, ordered a heap of stuff through Repco that I need, and today is just a matter of going around pretty much collecting everything and getting it all done. But first things first, need some fuel up the big thirsty work rig. Big shout out to the Falcon for getting all this done all the time. So fuel stop, get myself a drink and keep on soldering on. So this little BP here at Tanawa, for all you coast people, I always find they're like 8 cents cheaper than anywhere else. So if you're on the coast, definitely start looking at coming to this place, because I don't know, I always find it's way cheaper than anywhere else. So been to NZ, got the brake line here, nice fresh brake line all made up. Also got the barb to actually tee in the return from the head to the turbo return to the sump. I bought another fitting. This is what I'm hoping. The fitting that I'm using for the head drain is the Ross. I think it's Ross, or it might be Spool. I can't remember. Either way, it's not one I've used before. I checked the eBay listing. It said it's a dash 12. So I'm hoping it is a dash 12. So I bought a dash 12 fitting for that, so that I can then run soft line from there back to the T, is the plan. So hopefully it is dash 12. And I checked, I couldn't see anything on Golby's website about what size it is, but I checked the eBay listing for it and it did say dash 12, so hopefully I'm right, but I won't know until it gets here. Also got filter and oils and whatever else I sort of need. New T4 gasket. So just about everything there pretty much sorted. So I'll go pick up his flywheel and hopefully his wheels are sorted, so if I can get them as well, and that'll be it for today. So I also got a new throwout bearing from Repco as well. I'm pretty sure the clutch kit should come with one, but I wasn't sure, and I figured it's better to have one than to be looking for one. So, you know, me and Rex have RBs and whatnot, so it's not going to go to waste if there is one with the clutch kit, so I thought I'd order one anyway. Righto, so flywheel acquired. Oh, look at that. Squeaky clean. How awesome's that? So big thanks to Coolant brake and clutch for that. Righto, so wheel's still not ready. He's going to machine them this afternoon, so they'll be ready tomorrow. That's at Warner Wheel Repairs in Warana. So that'll be it for today. Today's errands sort of done, and tomorrow we'll go for an expedition, get some fresh E85 for him. Got some platinum cans there to get some fresh E85 for the big wags, big long roof, and come get his wheels. And then after that, it'll be hopefully game on back out to the workshop. Hopefully by then Golby's parts have arrived out there, the clutch and head drain and flywheel bolts, so that we can really start cracking on getting this engine, all the ancillaries and everything together, and get it in the hole and get it running very soon. Righto, so cruise home today, and after looking at that 12AN fitting that I bought to adapt this head drain, I thought, freaking hell, that looks massive for what this is meant to be. And sure enough, I got home and did some research. So the actual Ross Performance website listed as a dash 8. This eBay listing here listed as a dash 8. And then for some reason, old Golby's eBay listing listed as a dash 12, which is what I read when I ordered it. And that's why I got a dash 12. But I sincerely do not think that it's going to be a dash 12. So, going to have to get the right fitting. But thanks, Golby's. Frickin' hell. So I'm going to have to sort that out. That's going to be a massive pain in the ass. Just the fact that the workshop's so far away from here makes it really hard and annoying. Alrighty, so we'll try again today. So this morning I'm going to go get some fresh E85 for this wagon. And then hopefully these wheels are going to be ready. I got the right fitting coming this afternoon, so hopefully it gets here and I can grab it this afternoon or in the morning on the way out. And it means I also need to go back to NZ and get another brass adapter to adapt 3/4 inch to 1/2 inch for the head drain. So another adapter in the whole setup, so never ends. Oh, I've got the fresh E85. How's that for a work rig? The old Falcon does everything. So now back to NZ for the 3rd time in 3 days. So it's annoying having the workshop being so far away from all this. So it's just a matter of making sure you cover all bases, hopefully, and get everything together so that, because it should only be another like 2 days, maybe 2.5 days to get this car running. And I really don't want to have missed anything and have that delay the whole process, because it costs me money, which is not good. Got myself a little drinky drink. Probably better off just drinking the E85. Righto, got the old adapter, 1/2 inch to 3/4. Sweet. Righto, so what a day I've had. I spent most of the day editing my R31 build in 10 minutes video, so if you haven't seen it yet, go and watch it. I'll put a link up here. Did the runaround, got his wheels from Warner Wheel Repairs in Warana. So he's machined 5mm off the back of the mating surface, so big ups to that bloke. Cheers for that. Went and got the right fitting for this drain. So I got a -8 push lock fitting, and yeah, did the run around. I went to like all the different automotive chains that are around, and the only copper gasket spray that I can get is the Duplicolor stuff. I cannot find VHT or the Permatex one anywhere, which is an absolute pain in the ass. So I had to just get the Duplicolor one. It's not so much the product that I don't like, it's just the fact that the cans always turn to shit. I've never had a Duplicolor can that actually allowed me to use the whole contents of the can, because the can always turns to shit. So I try and stay away from Duplicolor for that reason, but I just couldn't this time around. So anyway, you get that. So fingers crossed now I've got everything I need to get this VL done. Get out there and just do it until it's done, and I don't have to hopefully come back and screw around with anything. So I'll pick this back up tomorrow on the way out, and hopefully just get a real kick on this thing and just get it done. Toby. It's got the hair up. Is it that long now?
Yeah, it's great.
Holy schmack. Fuck,
I don't know how I feel about the little fucking...
Little pigtail, little piglet.
Little fucking poofed a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, it's...
So just gonna stop in here. Some of you might remember the spacers that I bought that were not gonna fit my wheels. 10mm slip-ons. Adam wants to try them on the back of the Crusader.
Because I'm a retard and my wheels already rubbed, so let's try and make them rub some more.
Yeah. So a fair few of you guys have been asking about an update on this car. There will be content coming on this car very soon. Once I finish this VL, the plan is to get this out to the workshop to hopefully get the exhaust done. After that, it's just about ready for tunes. It's getting pretty close, actually.
Yeah, just literally the engine bay is like pretty much done now.
Oh, actually, we can show them that. Ooh, very nice. Oh, I can do the old wide boy on the iPhone. So you can see all the weldings, all nice and polished up.
Is my light too bright, or is it?
No, it's good.
Yeah, sweet.
It's good. So that's pretty much the engine bay all finished.
Yeah, I've
got his repainted his timing cover and all the covers after he put those on. You would have seen on the lead up to Matsuri. The catch can over there. Yes. Oh, what's that? Overflow.
Yeah, overflow bottle.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I wanted to get a 90-degree fitting for that, so then it wasn't as... It's not kinked, but it's just, I don't, you know...
It'll be right.
It'll be fine, but I can't find an... I thought it was a 1/8 MPT, because that would be fucking normal, wouldn't it? But it's not. It's some weird-ass little fucking gay size. And it'll be in the NZ, and, yeah... Basically, I had to make a custom fitting, and I was like, fuck that, I'll just leave it, so...
Nice.
So, yeah, got me fucking boost tee and shit mounted, and all that's all hidden under there. Hit it pretty nicely, the reference and shit, so that's... Yeah. But, yeah, that'll get heat wrapped. Once I finish the exhaust, I'm not going to do it now, because I need to weld the other side, so I need to just point at the ground. So, yeah, but I'm actually relatively happy with how the colours came out. Like, I'm pretty surprised.
It's quite cool. So before it does go out to the workshop, just a quick shout out to the fact that everything up to this point has been done right here in this garage, except for, obviously, this welding, to which was done in the workshop because Adam doesn't have a welder, and I do. And I have gas, and Adam wanted to use all my shit.
All the cuts, everything tacking it with that welder, with the little scratch start welder.
Yeah, scratch TIG tacked.
All the cuts are hand cuts. Everything's all been hand cut, hand drilled, everything, all in the garage. The only thing I've done is that, like, literally just physically weld it.
Yeah, just welding the alley.
Yeah, just welding that,
welding these at the workshop. But apart from
elbow.
that, which could have been done here if he had the welder.
If I had
gas,
literally, if I had gas, I'd just do it here. But oh wait, I can't alley weld with that welder. So, well, I can alley MIG with that, but I ain't doing
anyway, guys, update on this car is coming soon, so stay tuned. Subscribe, otherwise you'll miss it. Oh yeah, fit good.
Yeah, it rolls without rubbing.
With no one in it.
Yeah, and then as soon as enough, it's fucking stopped rubbing. See, I told ya.
It's not even that good, man. You can still get a finger in there.
Yeah, you still get a finger in there.
We roll a guard with your finger. Oh!
Want to pay for
This is a bit fancy. What a day. Nice. Dan's out here helping out today. So Dan's car. So I got here today, clutch is here from NPC, which I ordered through Golby's, but none of the other Golby stuff is here, like flywheel bolts or the head drain, which obviously needs to happen before the motor goes in the hole. So today's Friday, hoping that they get here today, because if not, sort of wrecks the whole weekend plans. But either way, for now, just start ticking along, getting everything on this motor. Just looking at putting the thermostat in, and notice that there's a Welsh plug that goes in between here, between the bore galley and the pump housing. That's what comes down from the head. So that just pretty much separates the pump housing from the actual bores. So you want to make sure that that's all right, otherwise it's going to affect your pump pressure quite a bit. So that Welsh plug was pretty much all but gone. So just little things you got to watch out for. All right, so 2 o'clock. Got the big run around, but finally got this package from Golby's. It got delivered to the wrong place, but they called me up and we got it back. So we're good. We're good. This is good news. Righto, pretty much there. Finally got the parts we need. Intakes all on them together. Just got one engine mount to put back on. Had to grind a bit off it to clear the manifold here. Looking pretty good. So anyway, time to put this head drain in. Righto, so we've got the head drain on. I did this in a separate video, which I would have already uploaded by now. So if you want to see how I did that, I'll put the little link up here so you can go and watch it. Go and have a watch. So anyway, that's all on there. That just ties into the turbo drain because Dan didn't want to have to pull the sump off and weld the bung into it. Too much work, too much time.
Let's get this thing going.
So Dan wants it running tonight. He's putting the pressure on. I'm ready. It's beer o'clock. But anyway, I don't know if I showed you that Welsh plug we knocked in as well. So we put a new Welsh plug in there, and that other one that was a bit air going. So, and we just had to clear the engine mount down here. So that's ready to go back on now. Just had to put a lick of paint on it after I ground it away, and I can put the covers back on. And then yeah, a few things on the front, alternator, a few other little things. Then it's ready for flywheel and clutch. Then it's ready for the hole. Righto guys, it's a new day. Hopefully today we get this thing running. That's the plan. So this is where we got to last night. Got the fan and some ancillaries and stuff on the block. Belts are on, everything's sort of tight. No plugs and coil packs because as part of my startup procedure, I will be turning this motor around or over on the starter with no plugs to relieve the bearings of pressure until I can make sure it's got oil pressure. It's just part of the startup procedure, so they don't go until later. And the other thing is this turbo. A little bit of shaft play in the back there. It's quite an old turbo. I'm sure this thing's done a lot of work. It is a Garrett. It's a Garrett rear housing, Garrett rear wheel. I don't know what the front is. ITS. Weird front housing I've never heard of, but it's got the Garrett rear wheel on it. So it's a Garrett 35 T4. It's a big housing, so yeah, don't know, see how it goes. Should be bloody good. So last night soaked the belly housing in degreaser. So today put the car up, give that a good clean with that degreaser soaking it overnight. It should be nice and easy to clean. So jack the car up. I'll get the throw out bearing carrier off, press on a new bearing with the press over there. Got a new bearing here that came in the clutch kit. And yeah, start putting the new rear brake line on, change the front brake back over. I don't know if he told you guys, Dan's decided for now, instead of buying the adapter hubs we need to run these discs, or buying new discs to suit these calipers, he's going to go back to standard front brakes just for now, until comes the time that we are going to put the probably new hubs on, run those discs, but we'll do the master and booster at the same time so that the brake upgrade's fully complete. So that's the idea. Anyway, time to get at it today. Also, this fan's super how going. We just put it back on for now. I actually have a 30 fan here that I bought up that I thought would fit, but it's too big for the hub. So I don't know what's going on there. Not too sure, because in my experience, all of the RB fans are the same size on the hub. So I am at a loss. Unless it's something like an RD28 fan or something, which I actually might have a spare one of. I should probably look at that. I might look into that. I might have one. I might go for a look, actually. I'll finish my coffee and clean this bell housing first. Ew. 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 Righto, looking much cleaner on there. Dan showed me a photo of the clutch that came out of this thing, and it is a surprise that it was even driving. It was that wrecked. So that bell housing was just like full of clutch dust and shit like that. Throwout bearing actually looks quite new, but again, throwout bearings are one of those things like a rear main seal, where if it's out, just do it, because it's one of those things where you got to undo all of your work to get at it. So if you chuck it in and collapse it, it collapses. Not a good time. Adam actually did it in his S14. It might have been when he did the Z32 box conversion on it. He put just it looked like a good throwout. He chucked it in and it just collapsed the throwout bearing straight away. So he had to pull the box back out again. So definitely one of those things you just want to do. And I got the fork out as well, because I'll grease that all up on the ball and everything when it goes back in. So it's all, brand spanking ready to go. The only thing we really need for the motor is still a thermostat. I tested that thermostat that was in it in a bucket of boiling water yesterday, and it didn't work. So Dan reckons he's going to get a new thermostat on his way out today. And after that, we should be right as rain. Oh, would you look at that, an RD28 fan. See if this goes on the hub. I don't understand. I thought they were all the same size hubs, so I'm a bit confused. So as I thought, this is the same size as the 30 fan and the hub, which makes sense. So it's not going to fit this hub. Brand new thermostat. All the boxes all sorted with the new throwout bearing. And all greased up, nice and clean in there. So, fuck yeah, getting close. Still got to drain all the air, 85. Right, quick update on the fan situation. RD28 fan, same size as RB fan, so obviously for the same hub. RD28 hub's fucked, so can't use that. Went down and flogged the hub off the Pintara, which it turns out is a smaller hub than the RD hub, which is the same size as this fan. This is the fan that came off the Pintara, which is the same size as that hub on the motor. So it looks like this hub here must be a Pintara or similar hub. That's what size it is. It's exactly the same as my Pintara hub there. So that's what's going on. So can't really do anything about it after all that. All right, I got the old analog gauge, oil pressure gauge thing ready to go. Can't tell lies for startup. Next thing I'm gonna do is get some oil down into the filter hole so that it goes down into the pump, make sure the pump primes, because I didn't put the pump together, so I don't know what's in it. Often people will pack it full of oil or grease to make sure it primes up, but seeing as I don't know, I've got to take precautions. So I'll shove some down there, chuck the filter on, fill it full of oil, and then it's ready to come off the stand and the flywheel and clutch can go on. Glub, glub, glub. So just a little bit of grease on the spigot just goes a long way in helping that input shaft just to hopefully slide straight on in there without too much hassle. So don't need heaps, just a little bit of grease. Sandwich plate goes on first before the flywheel. Bit of ARP hardware, so bolt clutch kicks all around. Alternating or crisscross pattern torque bolts to 2 ugger-duggers using specified lubricants. Not bad. Here's a little trick for you doing these up to the correct torque setting when the engine's floating. Just chuck a gearbox cross member bolt in your stud there. Then just use a jimmy bar to use it against to press it up against, and then you can actually get some leverage and tighten these up. Righto, good clean up with some thinners. Clutch is ready to go on, got a few bolts ready to go. Boom, one clutch flywheel. Not bad at all. All right, time to get this bitch in the hole. So I was gonna put it on time lapse, but I think it's gonna make this video too long. So just imagine a whole heap of screwing around and swearing and yelling and moving shit around and back and forth, and it'll be in the hole. Got to take this bonnet off first, actually. Righto, guys, so I did forget to film again, but as you can see, motor's in, rad's in, everything's mostly plumbed up. Wiring's mostly done. Rewrapped the dump pipe and the screamer, got them on. Whoever fabbed all this up, fuck you very much from me. What a prick. Anyway, it's on there. It was a massive shit fight to get it on there, but it's all on there. So, yeah, no, it's looking pretty good. All I'm going to do now is try and drain this tank as best I can with what's left in the tank. I will purge the line and try and just get the pump to pump most of it out the feed line. Purge the line that way, then we'll chuck some new E85 in it. Turn this over with no plugs and stuff, make sure we got oil pressure, and once we've got oil pressure, I'll whack the plugs and coil packs in it, and hopefully she'll just start up. All right, so a quick little lesson when you're siphoning stuff out of a fuel tank, if you don't want to keep tasting it. Bit of a drill bit, just drill a little hole in your siphon hose, and all I do is poke the end of the compressor doobie into the hole, poke it through, and that sort of acts as a bit of a vacuum cleaner, and then you just off she goes. Oh, forgot the film and I was too busy looking without the camera. But anyway, you get the idea. You just blow it and it sucks it up, and then it starts to siphon. That way you don't have to taste it in your mouth, because E85 doesn't taste too great, to be honest, and it burns. Righto, old E85 out, and we got 2 jerry cans of fresh stuff to put in. Obviously the reason you do that is because E85 is not good with moisture, so you can't leave it sit like petrol. 3 months is sort of personally the maximum I'd let it sit before you and still want to use it. So because this car was sitting for about 6 months, do not want to run that at all. Got some nice fresh stuff here. Pump it up into this tank, and then we'll purge the fuel line and hook it up, and we'll be ready to do some turnover. Righto, guys, so purge the fuel lines, fuel rails hooked back up. So we are pretty much all systems go to start turning this thing over and see what we get as far as oil pressure. So what I normally do, just leave this uncovered and just turn it over until oil comes out. Again, just to purge this line, make sure there's no air in it. Then we'll hook it up to the gauge, see what actual pressure it's making. And as long as it's suffice, we'll be good to plugs and coil packs and start going. Actually, first I'll untape these breathers so that the motor can breathe. Alright, we've got oil coming out. Yep, it's coming up. Yep. Plugs are gapped and in, coil pack's on, everything's done, so we're ready to hopefully fire this thing up. We're going to keep an eye on this oil pressure.
Ready?
Yeah, mate.
What's it doing there?
Go again.
Fucking home.
All right, so as you can see, car runs. As you can see also, it's dark now, so it took us a very long time. So there was a big saga of things, which I didn't really film again, working on a customer's car, just sort of try and get it done. But I figured I'd explain to you the troubles I had getting this thing to run, so that anyone who has similar issues might be able to benefit from what happened to me. So those of you who know RB25s, the Series 1 has a CAS that has a half moon key. Similar to that of a CA18, similar, like same sort of thing, where there's a half moon key in the CAS inside the spline, which is actually meant to line up with a half moon key on the exhaust cam to ensure that it can only be put in a one way. So what we found was that this motor was timed incorrectly, which is fair enough because of what we ended up finding out later. So pulling the CAS out, I sort of found that the CAS had the half moon, but it is very common of these motors for the half moon on the cam to snap off and you lose the half moon. After this happens, there is no real right or wrong way that the CAS can go in unless you look in and see where the key has snapped off the cam, which you can see, but alas, I tried to set the half moon of the CAS to where the half moon of the cam would have been, and it didn't work. It backfired. It was all over the place. When we first started it, before I even touched the CAS, it was backfiring, it was doing all sorts of stuff. Tried a few different positions of the CAS, just did a few things, tested the CAS, made sure with a multimeter that the CAS was getting voltage and voltage changes. Used the CAS to make sure that the injectors were pulsing and made sure that the coil packs were firing, took the plugs out, make sure there was spark, went through all that, double checked the mechanical timing, made sure the cams were timed correctly, which they were. So that was all fine. It got to the point where I sort of decided, because these cams came out of this motor before it blew up. So this was the cams that were in this motor before. So it's the same cam, same CAS. So obviously that half moon was gone previously. So I sort of came to the conclusion that because you have your static timing plus your electronic timing, which the ECU controls, this is a Link ECU. If the half moon had always been gone, that CAS could have been set anywhere on any spline, and it could have been tuned to that. The tune on the ECU could have been to wherever the CAS was set. Because there's no half moon, there's nothing to tell it where it has to be set on the cam. So it was pretty much the blind leading the blind at that point. I didn't really know where to go. I was sort of stumped onto how to try and get this thing to run properly because it was timed wrong. It wasn't working. And I tried putting the CAS where it should have been, like using a magnifying glass and a torch to find where the half moon had snapped off on the cam. That didn't work. Tried putting it 180 out from that. That didn't work. Sat down, pondered things. Came up with this idea eventually that I pulled number one coil pack out, pulled the lead off it and shoved a bolt up it so that I could put the timing light on number one. So I put the timing light on number one, tried that with the CAS. So pulled the CAS out and turned the CAS to try and see when it was firing. Problem is, it's set up as wasted spark. So one actually fires the same time as 6. So you get 2 strobes on this timing light for number one. So that was a problem. So I set the motor to top dead center, as you would, top dead center number one. I got Dan here to actually hold on to injector number one so that he could tell me on which strobe the injector was firing. So I could figure out which strobe was actually number one firing and which one was wasted spark. So all I did was set the CAS to where number one injector fired, and that was obviously where the first spark came from, with the motor at top dead center. And then after I got to the CAS to that point, I left the CAS there, and then I turned the motor back to 12 degrees before top dead, because that is factory for a petrol manual RB25. Is 12 degrees before top dead center, made like between 12 and 18. Either way, it's between the second and third mark is where it should be. So I turned the motor back to between 12 and 18 before top dead, and then inputted the CAS there. And I double checked where the keyway was in relation to where it was on the cam, and I was right, because it was way out from where it should have been, or where you'd think it was going to be. So that eventually got the thing running, and that's how we got it running. So the problem I had is, because I don't have the hardware here to connect to the link, like if you could connect to the link, it will have an ignition map, and if the ignition map is all over the place, then you would know that it was tuned with the CAS in the wrong position to start with. But I didn't have that facility, so that's how we sorted that out. And yeah, so using that, 12 degrees before top dead, inputted the CAS, and that's how it got started. So it took us about 4 hours to figure that out. But we got there, and it's running now, and it's running well, and Dan's a happy boy. Happy boy, Dan.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, that's what makes it all worth it, eh?
It's fucking awesome.
So, car's in, running, and we're in business. So, happy days. So, can drive on and off a trailer, can go get a proper tune now, and Dan can go lay some fat 11s eventually. So,
There will be skids.
we'll be scared. Anyway, car's running. That's the aim for tonight. That was the goal. So, I'm pretty happy. Dan's happy. Happy customer. Happy worker. We're all sweet. So, that's all going to be tonight. It's like 8:30 now, so that's me done for the day. And tomorrow I'll just finish a few niggly things, and this thing will be ready to go for a tune. So happy days. That's good. He must have run pretty tight on the bearings, I reckon. Do you know if he shimmed up the pump at all? To bump up the pressure?
I don't know.
He might have. That's pretty good.
I know he said all the pump, from when it blew up, the pump was new still. Like,
Yeah,
old
like
build
fresh.
was fairly fresh still.
Yeah, yep.
Just the standard rods when they go.
Yeah, so
So,
it's pretty good pressure. I'd say probably pretty tight on the bearing tolerances. Righto, so I woke up this morning, got a bit of a coolant leak. It is coming from the little fitting thing that's, the heater hose goes into the thermostat. There is where that leak is coming from, so I have to try and figure out exactly where it's coming from, whether it's where it goes into the housing or the hose, and try and fix that, sort that out. Pretty much done for now. Sort out the catch can and stuff another day. But panhard's all centered, diff's all centered, everything's pretty well sorted. Oh dear, look what's on the trailer. So Dan was really stoked, car was going really good, everything's sweet. He got nearly all the way home, and it appears to have snapped the cam gear off the exhaust cam. So it was making that whirring noise, the classic old RB25 timing belt too tight sort of noise. So still turning over fine, not contacting anywhere. So with any luck, it hasn't done any other damage, it's just that cam. But obviously, won't know until it gets pulled down again. Or until we pull the cover off at least again, and we'll see what's going on with it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything else is all right.
like, is it old or?
There you go. One snapped cam.
Fucking mid.
Just what you wanted, isn't it?
Oh, the first trip home.
Nearly made it home.
80 Ks. She fucked.
Yeah. Not bad. Good job.
Oh, well, bigger can.
So there you go, guys. That's the old VL build, sort of done. Not the best result in the very end. Personally, I think it might just be one of those freak things. Obviously, those cams were in the last motor when it went bang. I know for a fact that it did bend valves at that point, so I have to wonder if maybe that cam was already damaged from the last motor. It looks to have broken right on that journal, so perhaps it was starved for oil at some point. And damaged itself along the journal. It's hard to know, having not done the original teardown and all that myself, or built the motor myself. So even if the timing belt was tight, that's a massive chunk of cast to just break. So I really do think it's just one of those freak things where the cam has probably been damaged before, and unfortunately it has let go. So I'm going to be looking into this more next week. I got to go do a leak down test on that motor and make sure none of the valves are bent. Yeah, just fingers crossed that it's okay and we can just chuck new cams in it and go again. Hopefully, but we'll find out anyway. I'm sure you'll pretty much be along for the ride, with it now. So big thanks to Dan for letting me make content of this sort of build, and you guys sort of get to see what goes on as far as doing work for other people, I suppose, and just getting stuff done a bit. And yeah, it's a really cool car, so hopefully we can sort it out soon. So we'll see you soon for the next one.